After rescuing the alien child, the Queen took him as her own Jonah's knife bit into the pod's hull, sparks flying as the blade chewed through alien alloy. A child's wail pierced the gash, high, ragged, laced with panic. He yanked harder, his suit's seals hissing against the planet's corrosive haze. One more cut. The panel buckled. Inside, Teary curled tight, her iridescent skin pulsing faint blue. 6 limbs clutched a cracked console, her wide eyes locked on him, pupils dilating like oil slicks. Atmosphere clawed at the pod's breech, fogging his visor with acidic vapor. "Easy, kid," Jonah said, voice steady through his translator. He extended a gloved hand. "Jonah Hale, here to get you out." Teary flinched, a tendril whipping out to snag his wrist. It stung like static, but held fast. Her cry sharpened. The air thickened, his suit's alarms beeped, O2 filters straining. He sliced the harness with a quick flick. Teary tumbled into his arms, light as a drone. Her skin cooled fast against his suit, biology rejecting the heat. No time. Jonah kicked free of the pod and sprinted for cover, her wail echoing in his helmet, beacon first. He slapped the deploy pack on his chest. It hummed to life, pulsing rescue cords skyward. Teary shivered, tendrils coiling tighter. Her core temp read critical on his wrist scanner, alien vitals flickering erratically. "Stay with me," he muttered. He ripped open his emergency kit, pulling thermal foil. The silver sheet crinkled as he wrapped her, tucking her against his chest plate. It sealed her heat in, blocking the wind's bite. Teary's cries dulled to whimpers. Good sign. Comms crackled. "Hale, report." Marshal Keth Rawl's voice clipped armored suspicion. "Got the juvenile," Jonah said, scanning the ridge. "Pod's toast. She's hypothermic, dehydrated." Sprinting to evac point now. Silence then. "Human, you touch her royal flesh without clearance. Clearance won't warm her up." Jonah dodged a rock outcrop, boots pounding regolith. Teary's tendril tugged his collar, pulling data from his suit. Odd biology siphoning info like a living probe. Rawl growled. "Queen's inbound, hold position." "Not happening." Jonah crested the ridge. Predators skittered in the valley, chitin legs clicking, drawn by the crash's echo. Teary tensed, her skin flashing warning yellow. He dropped behind a boulder, kit open again. Ration pouch, filter straw. He punctured the water pack, threaded the straw's nanomesh. Saline drip, jury-rigged, but it'd flush her system. Alien physio charts said her kind needed electrolyte balance stat. "Hold still." He pierced her arm membrane with the straw's tip. Teary hissed, but drank fluid bubbling steady. Her color stabilized, blue deepening to healthy teal. Comms lit up. "Hail, this is Queen Salith Vayer." Her tone cut like crystal, precise, regal. "You breach protocol carrying my ward." "Protocol's dying in this soup, Your Majesty." Jonah watched the drip flow. "She's stable, beacon's hot, shuttle ETA." A pause. Teary's eyes met his, tendril loosening its grip. Trust flickered there, raw, childlike. "Marshal Rawl contests your claim," Salith said. "He deems you opportunist." Envoy Calder whispers of human infiltration. Jonah snorted, packing the drip. "Tell Rawl to save it for the court. I'm fieldwork. This is routine." Skittering intensified. Shadows lunged, 3 predators, mandibles gnashing. Teary squealed, burrowing closer. Jonah yanked his shovel from the thigh mount, flare gun in the other hand. "Company," he fired. The flare arced, bursting white-hot. Predators reared, blinded. Jonah charged, shovel swinging. Blade met chitin crack. One beast crumpled, legs twitching. The second leaped. He sidestepped, drove the edge into its flank. Green ichor sprayed his suit. Teary's tendril lashed out, wrapping the third's antenna. It thrashed, stunned. "Got your back, kid." Jonah stomped its head. Silence fell, broken by his breaths. Comms exploded. "What was that?" Rawl barked. "Local wildlife handled." Jonah scooped Teary secure, foil crinkling. Her skin warmed against him, bonding pheromones. His scanner pinged compatibility. Salith's voice returned, softer. "You defend her without arms, without fear." "Job hazard." Shuttle thrusters rumbled overhead. He waved it down, ramp dropping. Rawl stormed out first, rifle leveled. Armored plates gleamed under his exosuit. "Human, step away from the royal." Teary clung to Jonah. "No," her translator garbled the word, instinct over language. Jonah met Rawl's glare. "She's choosing." The marshal froze. Teary's tendril extended to Rawl, then retracted. Rejection clear. Salith emerged behind, robes flowing like liquid night. Her crown pulsed with embedded tech. Eyes compound, shifting, fixed on Jonah. "Marshal, stand down, he honors the debt." Rawl lowered his weapon, jaw tight. "Debt to a contractor?" The crash alert reached him first. Salith stepped closer, scanning Teary. Human networks pierced our veil, he cut her free. Jonah handed Teary over gently. She resisted, tendril lingering on his glove. Salith noticed her posture eased a fraction. Envoy Calder awaits at palace, Rawl said. He'll spin this as scandal, human touch on royal skin. Let him, Salith lifted Teary. The child nuzzled her but glanced back at Jonah. Hail, you return with us, testimony binds the truth. Jonah boarded the shuttle, practical as ever. If it gets her home, ramps sealed, thrusters roared. Below, Calder's envoy drone hovered, watching, scheming. Inside, Teary reached for Jonah again. Salith allowed it. Rawl watched, suspicion cracking. Human compassion, Salith murmured. We queens know duty this, chooses family. Jonah shrugged, checking his suit seals. Routine fieldwork, but Teary's grip said otherwise. Comms pinged, Calder's voice oily. Queen, the court demands explanation, a human savior or saboteur? Salith's eyes hardened. We build trust now, envoy, or fracture forever. The shuttle banked toward the spires. Teary slept, tendrils entwined with Jonah's fingers. Biology bridged what politics tore. Rawl leaned in. You fight like us, why help? Jonah grinned. Kids don't crash alone. But alarms blared, hostile signatures closing. Calder's leverage, or worse. Salith gripped her throne. Shields up, hail, your hand saved her once, do it again. Alarms shrieked. Red strobes slashed the shuttle cabin. Jonah braced one hand on his harness, the other steady on Teary's tendril. The juvenile's spots flickered erratically, her skin heating under his glove. Easy, kiddo, he murmured. Biology glitch, stress spiked her core temp. Shields at full, Rawl shouted. His armored frame hunched over tactical hollows. 3 skimmers vectoring from palace grid, envoy Calder's colors. Salith's throne creaked. Hail them, demand stand down. Comms crackled, no reply. Skimmers loosed warning pulses, proximity blasts rattled the hull. Jonah scanned the viewport. Human eyes caught the lead skimmer's drift. Lazy turn, pilot compensating wrong. Port side weak, he called. Their stabilizers lagging. Rawl's head snapped around. What? See the yaw, hit it. Salith nodded once. Do it. Guns barked. Shuttle turrets stitched the lead skimmer's flank. It spiraled, venting plasma. The other 2 peeled off, comms flooding with indignant squawks. Calder's pilots, Rawl growled. Testing us? Teary's tendril squeezed Jonah's finger. Her temp stabilized. He exhaled, routine evasion, like Canyon runs on Mars. Salith uncurled a tendril from her throne. Well spotted, Hale, your eyes bridge what ours miss. Jonah shrugged. Just field work. The shuttle punched through Atmos, spires rising like crystal fangs. Palace docks loomed. Ramps hissed open before touchdown settled. Armed guards swarmed the pad, rifles leveled. Rawl waved them back. Secure the royal, human under writ, stand down. Envoy Shun Calder strode forward, robes swirling. His tendrils twitched with false calm. Queen Salith, a human boards your shuttle with the air. The court erupts already. Salith descended the ramp, Teary cradled close. Jonah followed, hands visible. The child reached back, tendril seeking his glove. Guards murmured, scandal in motion. Explanation later, envoy, Salith said. The air lives because of him. Calder's eyes flicked to Jonah. A contractor, convenient timing, toxin delivery, sabotage masked as rescue. Rawl stepped between. Scans first. He thrust a scanner wand at Jonah. It hummed over his suit, gloves every seam. Clear, Rawl announced. No contaminants, human baseline, Calder sneered. Baseline for them, poison for us. Teary squirmed in Salith's arms. Her spots dimmed, fatigue hitting. Jonah, she clicked softly, voice piping through translator. Guards froze, royal juvenile naming an alien, whispers rippled. Salith's posture shifted. She knelt, offering Teary to Jonah. Hold her, stabilize. Jonah took the child without pause. Her tendrils wrapped his arm, temp normalizing fast. Got you, Calder recoiled. Majesty protocol? Enough. Salith rose, drawing a data slate. Her tendrils signed the royal writ with a flourish, hollow seal glowing. Hale stands under protection, quarters near the air. Testimony and aid until court clears. Rawl saluted. As writ commands, Calder's tendrils nodded. This fractures alliances. The council votes tomorrow. Human integration, they breed chaos. Salith met his gaze. Or trust, dismissed. Medics rushed forward, pallets ready. Jonah handed Teary over gently. She clung a beat longer, then settled. Her eyes tracked him as they wheeled her inside. Rawl clapped Jonah's shoulder firm, testing. You fight clean, follow. Palace corridors gleamed, walls pulsing soft light. Jonah matched Rawls' stride, suit servos whispering. Guards eyed him, but Rit held. Your biology, Rawls said. Teary bonds fast, tendrils read pheromones, yours calm her. Jonah nodded. Kids pick safe hands. They reached a vaulted chamber. Teary's cribpod hummed, medics adjusting feeds. Salith waited, tendrils laced. Her vitals steady, a medic reported. Thanks to the human's touch. Salith dismissed them, door sealed. Sit, hail. Jonah dropped into a perch chair too small for human frame. Teary cooed from her pod. You refuse payment, Salith said. Why? Routine job, Jonah checked his glove seals. Kid needed outdone, Rawl leaned on the wall. Contractors charge triple for off-world. Salith's spots brightened, a smile. Duty blinds us to family. You chose it, Raw. Alarms pinged, low priority. Rawl checked his comm. Calder rallies council, petitions to quarantine you. Salith waved it off. Rit blocks him. She approached Teary's pod, tendril stroking. The child stirred, reaching past. Jonah extended his hand. Tendril latched. She'll need monitoring. Her biorhythms sync to contact. Rawl's suspicion cracked further. You read her like one of yours. Survival basics, Jonah said. Heat, grip, calm, universal. Hours blurred. Jonah stayed put. Teary slept deep, spots steady. Salith paced, reviewing hollows, council feeds buzzing with outrage. Calder's face dominated one. The queen risks throne for alien hands, air tainted. Salith muted it. Politics gnaws, biology binds. Teary woke fussing. Spots flared hot. Medics bustled, injectors ready. Wait, Jonah stood. Cool cloth first, slow her vents. He pressed his gloved palm to her core. Tendrils cooled under pressure. Spots dimmed. Medics exchanged looks. Effective human norm, Salith nodded approval. Learn it, Rawl grunted. Calder's drones circle outer docks. More skimmers prepped. Countermand, Salith ordered. Full escort to chambers. Night cycle dimmed the halls. Jonah trailed the pallet, Teary's tendril in his grip. Guards parted. Calder intercepted at the royal wing, flanked by council aides, data slates glowing petitions. Majesty revoked the writ, quarantine the human, purity scans for the air. Teary whimpered. Jonah squeezed her tendril gentle. Salith halted. Scans cleared him, he stabilizes her. Calder thrust a hollow. Witnesses claim off-world pheromones alter juvenile growth. Scandal spreads. Rawl drew his sidearm halfway. Stand aside. Aides murmured, tension coiled. Teary clicked sharp, angry. Her free tendril lashed at Calder's robe. He flinched back, spots on his skin dulled. Salith laughed once low. The air chooses, she swept past. Jonah followed, practical stride unbroken. Inner chambers sealed. Teary's pod nested in silk webs. Salith assigned Jonah a alcove, close monitored. Rest, she said. Council dawns. Jonah peeled off his outer glove, skin to tendril, hers twined eager. On it. Rawl posted at the door. You anchor her, we guard the rest. Dawn feeds blared. Council chamber hollows filled the room. Calder spoke smooth. Integration invites invasion. Expel the human. Salith countered live. He rescued where we failed. Bond proves strength. Teary stirred. Jonah rocked the pod edge. Her spots synced calm. Votes tallied. Narrow hold, writ upheld. Calder's voice spiked private comm. This fractures us, queen. Choose throne or freak. Salith killed the link. Family endures. Teary gripped Jonah's bare finger. First skin contact. Her biolum pulsed warm, trust sealed. Rawl watched. Human compassion, we build on it. But outer sensors pinged. Skimmers inbound again. Calder's final push. Salith armed up. Hail to her side. Rawl flanks. Jonah nodded. Kid first. Always. Hull shakes hit. Boarding clamps thudded. Intruders breached the outer wing. Teary spots flared panic. Jonah scooped her pod harness. Shields her, we move. Salith led the charge, plasma lance humming. Rawl covered rear. They burst into the fray. Calder's guards, mercs in false. Plasma bolts scorched the corridor walls. Jonah dodged left. Teary's harness pod slung across his chest like a field pack. Salith charged ahead, her lance carving through the first merc in a false royal tabard. The intruder's carapace split, biofluid spraying. Flank right, Rawl barked from behind. His pulse rifle chattered, dropping two more. Jonah pivoted, boots scraping deck plates. A merc lunged at him, human-sized, but chitin-plated, stun prod raised. Jonah sidestepped, drove his elbow into the joint gap. Crack, the merc crumpled. Teary thrashed in the pod. Spots flared crimson panic across her tendrils. IV lines tugged loose again, nutrient drip scattering. Jonah tapped the harness weave, steady rhythm like he'd learned in the med bay. Thump, thump, pause, thump, her glow dimmed to amber, calm held. Salith spun, lance impaling another. Hail pod secure? Locked, Jonah grunted. He fired his borrowed stunner, alien grip awkward, but point and shoot worked. Merc down, they pushed forward, corridor narrowing to the outer wing hatch. Rawl covered their retreat. Calder's play. Mercs from the fringe worlds. Proof later, Salith snapped. Her tendrils lashed, yanking a weapon from a falling foe. Hull groaned under fresh clamps, more inbound. Jonah scanned the pod readouts, heart analogs spiking. Thierry's biolum flickered. Not now, kid, he tapped faster. Thump, 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 her spots synced, breath evened, seizure averted. Again, they sealed the inner hatch. Alarms wailed, Salith keyed lockdown. Rit holds, medbay now, Thierry destabilizes. Jonah nodded, harness bouncing against his ribs. He'd built it yesterday after the first IV tear out. Soft weaves from spare silk nets padded with gel packs. Field straps cinched just right, no chafing her tender hides. Alien stared then, mandibles clicking. Human fix. Simple, medbay doors hissed open. Quarantine field shimmered blue. Medics clustered Thierry's berth, 3 of them scanners whirring, lights flashed red. Unstable, one hissed. Biorhythms crash, protocols fail. Thierry writhed, spots blazed, lines ripped free. Medics recoiled, suits sealing tighter. Jonah stepped forward, no suit. Just his standard gear, boots scrubbed, gloves swapped for sterile wraps. He followed their bioprotocol dance, UV wash, tendril scan, vocal clear. Field parted for him. Human, a medic protested. Move, Jonah slid in. Fingers traced her pod edge. Tap tap, rhythm locked, spots eased. He rebound the lines through harness loops, snug, no pull, drip flowed steady, medics froze, scanners beeped green. Stabilized, how? Keeps her still, rhythm calms. Jonah straightened. Thierry's tendril curled his wrist, trust pulse, warm glow. Salith entered, Rawl at her flank. Report. Human intervention, the head medic said, mandibles twitched awe. No suit breach, protocols perfect, child sinks to his beat. Rawl's optics narrowed on Jonah. You walked quarantine raw, followed the markers. Routine, Jonah shrugged. Humans trained for worse, earthquakes, void leaks, alien bugs, just data points. Salith's tendrils brushed his arm. Det deepens, hail, council sees. Private comm pinged, Calder's face hollow flickered. Queen, your pet human draws fire. Abdicate the writ, secure the throne. Throne stands, Salith cut. Your mercs rot and hold, evidence transmits. Hollow died, Rawl holstered his rifle. Marshal grants supervised access, human, you anchor her, proven. Jonah nodded, kid first, always, hours blurred. Thierry slept deep in harness. Jonah monitored from his alcove, podside silk draped. Salith paced the chamber. Calder fractures court, integration vote hangs. Build trust, Jonah said. Show it works, she paused. Tendril twined his skin to skin, no glove, glow shared. You teach that? Dawn feeds hummed. Council reconvened, hollows bloomed, Calder smooth. Human touch corrupts, child's biorhythms altered, expel. Salith countered. He stabilizes where we falter, proof in scans. Data streamed, seizure prevents, comm sinks, votes ticked. Narrow hold again. Writ endured, Thierry stirred. Jonah rocked the pod, tap tap. Spots danced happy blue, Rawl watched door. Compassion extraordinary, we guard it. Sensors pinged soft, no threats, just quiet. But Thierry cooed, first vocal. Tendril gripped Jonah's finger bare. Biolum warmed his skin. Bond sealed. Salith smiled, rare, precise. Family forms. Jonah felt it too, not blood, chosen, quarantine lifted partial. Jonah walked Thierry's berth again, no suit. Medics deferred now. He adjusted harness straps. Thierry purred under taps. Teach us, a medic asked. Watch. Jonah demoed rhythm on pod shell. Spots synced instant. Rawl joined. I suspected manipulation. Evidence forces truth. Cooperate full. Team, Jonah said. Simple. Calder's next push brewed. Scouts reported skimmers massing outer rim. Politics boiled hostile. Salith armed her lance. Protective cordon hail core with Thierry. Jonah prepped pod evac straps. Human comm met alien duty, trust built fast. Thierry's glow brightened. Family over fear. Hull trembled faint. Probe drone. Jonah tapped steady. Comm held. Rawl sealed bays. Incoming query. Calder demands audience. Salith faced hollow. Speak, envoy. Your human bonds child wrong, Calder sneered. Biology rejects, scans lie. Scans prove, Salith said. Join or fracture, he cut. Skimmers accelerated. Battle stations, Rawl ordered. Jonah harnessed Thierry tight. We move if breach, Salith nodded. Together. Plasma signatures spiked. Drones swarmed viewports. Rawl fired outer turrets. Hits splashed. Jonah felt Thierry's pulse race. Tap, tap, thump. Steady. One drone breached shields. Clamp, thud. Breach alarm wailed. Inner wing, Salith surged. They ran. Jonah pod secure. Rhythm unbroken. Corridor fight erupted. Drones disgorged bots, small, claw-armed. Salith lanced 2. Rawl blasted 3. Jonah stomped 1 under boot. Sparks flew, Thierry giggled, fear gone. Bots swarmed. Jonah swung pod like ram, harness held firm. Crush, Rawl stared. Human strength normal? Practical. Jonah tapped on, calm spread. Last bot sparked out. Clear, Salith vented. Calder loses push, court turns. But Thierry seized light, spots wild, post-fight stress. Medics rushed, failed again, lines tore. Jonah in, no suit, protocols, harness reset, rhythm locked, stable, Rawl knelt. You save her thrice, access full, brother in guard. Tendril clasp, alien grip firm, Salith watched. Debt to family, Jonah smiled, kid safe. Bond iron, outer sensors cleared, skimmers fled, council feed blared victory, writ ironclad, Thierry gripped all 3, Jonah, Salith, Rawl, glows merged, found family 1. Calder's final calm, fracture comes, Salith smashed node. We endure, Jonah rocked pod, tap tap, future bright, but rim scouts pinged, fleet shadows, bigger threat, Thierry cooed warning, spots flickered new pattern, Jonah tensed, game on, envoy Shun thrust his data slate forward. The human Jonah Hale kidnapped the royal heir. Proof in the logs, unauthorized access, pod override, flight from the breach site. Jonah gripped Thierry's pod harness. The chamber's glow veins pulsed red under emergency light. Counselors hissed from tiered seats. He kept his breath steady, routine politics. Like site disputes back home, Queen Salith rose from her throne, her tendrils flared white. Accusation noted, public hearing now, humans stand at my side. Jonah shifted the pod closer. Thierry's spots flickered blue, curious, not scared. He tapped the rhythm, tap, tap, thump. Her glow steadied. Rawl flanked them, plasma lance primed. Marshall's eyes locked on Shun. Shun sneered. A predator cloaked as savior, he manipulates the juvenile's biology. Isolation protocols demand. Denied. Salith's voice cut crystal. Evidence first, play the feeds. Jonah unclipped his helmet from his belt. Standard gear. He synced it to the chamber holodome. Full log release, unedited. The dome ignited. Rescue footage bloomed, derelict station, hull breaches venting atmosphere. Jonah's cam shook as he cut through debris. Thierry. Hang on, kid. Pod clamps engaged. Her spots wild, lines tearing free. Counselors leaned in, gasps rippled. Footage jumped, drones swarm inbound. Jonah shouldered the pod, boots pounding grated deck. Bots latched, claws scraped alloy. He stomped 1 flat. Practical tools. Swing pod rammed 2 more into bulkhead sparks. A counselor murmured. Human endurance, no suit fatigue. Next clip, inner breach. Salith and Rawl fought corridors. Jonah pod secured, crushing bots underfoot. Thierry giggled mid-chaos. Rhythm tap tap thump locked her stable. Shun interrupted. Tampered, he overrides our med protocols. Jonah cued the biologs. Raw data, human baseline, no edits. Graph spiked. Thierry's heart analogs synced to his taps. Alien medics failed thrice. His rhythm held. Rawl growled. He saves her again. Salith nodded. Debt-proven accusation fails. Shun's tendrils coiled black. Not yet. He slapped his slate. Alarms wailed. Bulkheads slammed down. Security lockdown. Isolate the juvenile from the predator. Royal Protocol Alpha 9. Chamber lights strobed crimson. Vents hissed gas. Counselors bolted. Jonah yanked Thierry's pod tight. Not happening. He scanned exits sealed. Rawl blasted a panel. Sparks, no give. Salith lunged at Shun. Treason, override. Shun dodged, comm node in grip. Fleet inbound. Rim shadows confirmed. Humans' fault drew them here. Jonah's wrist unit pinged. Scout data matched. Masked signatures closing fast. He hefted the pod. Politics later. Get her safe. Rawl shouldered a service hatch. Armory run. Full guard muster. Gas thickened. Counselors choked. Tendrils limp. Shun fled into a side vent, gone. Salith sealed her throne dais. Barrier hummed live. Jonah, rhythm her through. Thierry seized. Spots erupted chaos. Lines strained. Jonah knelt, no suit this time. Skintapod contact. Tap, tap, thump on her shell. Glows synced. Steady. Rawl hauled bulkhead plates. Human comm infects. Extraordinary. Teamwork. Jonah eyed schematics on his unit. Palace grid standard. Vent networks power cores. Weak point. East generator. Bypass lockdown. Salith vented fumes. Risky, exposes air. Safer than sitting. Jonah cracked the dais seal, pod first. They crawled vents narrow, glow veins dim, Teary cooed, spots playful, raw led. Shun's rival fleet, old guard push, Salith hissed. He turns rescue to coup. Jonah pushed pod ahead, claws scraped, bot echoes ahead. Company, Rawl lanced first drone. Jonah rammed pod into the second crush. Teary thumped excitement. Salith sealed the wreck. Your strength compliments. Generator chamber loomed. Shun's voice boomed from speakers. Surrender the air, human influence corrupts. Jonah patched his unit to the core. Override code incoming. He fed log files, pure data, no tricks. Locks clicked open. Alarms shifted, external breach. Hulls groaned, fleet skimmers punched atmosphere. Rawl fired turrets from console, hits splashed. They bored. Salith gripped Jonah's arm, tendril firm. Protect her. Always. Jonah pod secured, bots swarmed vents, claws gleamed. He stomped, swung, rhythm unbroken. Teary's glow merged theirs, blue-white shield pulse. One bot latched pod, Jonah pried it free. Alloy bent. Rawl stared. Human grip like ours amplified. Salith lanced 3. United. Shun burst in personal guard, plasma staves hot. End this, heir to true council, Rawl charged. Staves clashed. Jonah pod blocked a strike, impact jarred bones. Teary shrieked. Rhythm faltered. Salith roared. Tendrils whipped, disarming too. Jonah tapped frantic, tap-tap thump. Glow reignited, Shun lunged at pod. Corruptor. Jonah sidestepped, tripped him into generator intake. Suckwur, gone, guard froze, dropped staves, Rawl knelt. Proof, human saves Queen's line. Salith vented, council reforms you witness. But outer feed screamed, main fleet breached shields, drones masked viewports. Jonah checked Teary stable. Round 2, gear up. Rawl clasped his shoulder. Brother, Salith nodded. Family, Teary gripped all, spots steady gold. Bond sealed, skimmers slammed docks. Footfalls thundered corridors. Jonah hefted pod, rhythm set. They ran, plasma fire lit halls. Hostiles poured, armored, staves primed. Rawl blasted front rank. Salith flanked, lancing flanks. Jonah pod rammed center, bots crumpled. A captain bellowed. For true order. Jonah dodged stave, counterpunch, human fist cracked helmet, captain reeled. What manner? Practical. Jonah tapped on. Teary giggled. Hostiles wavered. Whispers. Predator myth. Ally. Salith broadcast chamber-wide. Stand down. Air secured. Dead honored. Captain knelt. Mercy. Rawl growled. Earn it. Fleet pulled back. Skimmers fled. Sensors cleared. Council feed reignited. Surviving envoys bowed hollow. Queen endures. Jonah rocked pod. Tap-tap. Teary cooed content. But wrist unit pinged deep scan. Buried signature, not fleet. Worse, Biotracer and Teary's lines, Shun's final play, Salith tensed. Tracker, Jonah nodded. Incoming signal, lock on, Rawl primed lance. Hunters come. Teary's spots flashed warning, game deeper. Jonah smiled grim. Family fought on. Jonah vaulted the enclosure fence. Protocol be damned. Teary thrashed inside, her iridescent claws raking deep gashes across her own flanks. Spots pulsed frantic red along her scales, pain, fear, something primal. Blood slicked the containment floor. She hissed at the hovering med drones, swatting them aside like insects. He landed light, boots gripping the spongy alien substrate. Easy, kid, no more of that. Jonah extended empty hands. Teary froze mid-slash. Her multifaceted eyes locked on him, pupils dilating wide. She scrambled back, but her wounds wept violet fluid. Odd biology, self-inflicted to trigger some regeneration molt. Didn't matter, she needed stopping now. Guards shouted from outside. Stave lights stabbed through the bars. Human out, containment breach. Marshal Keth Rawl's voice cut sharp, authoritative. Jonah ignored them. He edged closer. Teary whimpered, a sound like cracking crystal. Her tail coiled tight. Look. Just a wrap. Jonah pulled his field bandage from his vest. Human-grade, self-sealing, he knelt slow. Teary lunged, not attack. She snatched his sleeve in tiny claws, yanked him down as cover. Her body pressed against his leg, trembling. Spots shifted, red to wary orange. Boots pounded the platform. Guards leveled staves, energy humming lethal. Keth shouldered through. Secure the intruder, collar him. Jonah shielded Teary with his frame. Back off, she's calming. The child burrowed deeper behind him, peeking out. She rejected every guard's approach earlier, snapped, clawed, bolted. Now she clung to the offworlder like he was hull plating. Keth's mandibles clicked fury. You breach royal quarantine for what? Leverage. His lance tip glowed inches from Jonah's neck. Teary growled low. Claws tightened on sleeve. Spots flared gold trust. Jonah kept still. Routine SAR, kid's hurt, I'm fixing it. A new voice sliced the tension, precise, resonant. "Stand down, Marshal." Queen Salith Vaer glided into view, robes shimmering like oil on water. Her crown spines erect, eyes unblinking. Keth stiffened. "Majesty, this human?" "Obey." Salith's tone brooked no debate. Guards lowered staves. Keth's jaw clenched, but he stepped back. Salith fixed on Jonah. "You risk execution for her. Why?" Jonah taped Tiri's worst gash. It sealed clean, no reaction to human adhesive. She cooed, spots steadying Amber. "Job's the job. She's a kid. Kids don't self-destruct on my watch." Salith tilted her head. Scales along her neck gleamed, assessing. "Her molt stress drives the harm. Our protocols isolate. Yours." "Invade." Tiri nuzzled Jonah's arm, ignoring her queen. The royal juvenile chose the human rescuer over guards, over blood. Keth growled. "He manipulates her, Majesty. Envoy Shun warned of off-world ploys." Salith waved dismissal. "Shun schemes in chambers." "This human acts." She extended a clawed hand, not threat offer. "Household oath, rescuer, swear to my line, no collar, protection as kin." Jonah paused. Tiri's grip loosened, but she stayed put. Oath meant entanglement, politics, biology clashes, but her spots glowed soft gold. "Family over fear." He clasped her hand, firm. "Jonah hail, oath taken." Salith's spines relaxed a fraction. "Witnessed, Marshal escort them to secure wing, double guard." Keth saluted stiff. "As commanded." Doubt lingered in his stance. Jonah scooped Tiri light as a drone pack. She nestled content, tail wrapping his wrist. Guards parted, whispers rippled. "Human tames air." Myth made real. They moved through palace corridors. Biolum walls pulsed in sync with Tiri's spots. Jonah scanned readouts on his wrist unit. Her vitals stabilized, human patch held, but alien air hummed with tension. Distant chants echoed, council session raging. Shun Calder waited at the secure wing hatch, polished robes, envoy crest gleaming, smile too smooth. "Majesty, the air clings to." This, his gaze raked Jonah. "Fortuitous rescue or convenient?" Salith halted. "Convenient truth, Hale swore oath, he stays." Shun's eyes narrowed. "Council demands purity, off-world taint scandals the line, yield him to inquiry." Tiri hissed from Jonah's hold, burrowed closer. Keth shifted, lance hand twitching. Jonah met Shun's stare. "Calm, kid safe, that's the win." Salith's voice iced. "Inquiry denied, debt honors hailed, dismissed, envoy." Shun bowed, fractional. "As you will, for now." He glided away, footfalls faded. Inside the wing, med platforms hummed. Jonah set Tiri down. She resisted, claws snagging vest. "Stay." Her voice piped first words, accented but clear. Universal translator bridged the gap. Jonah knelt. "Right here." He checked bandages, seeping slowed, good. Keth posted at door. "Her molt completes soon. Vulnerable, your presence." "Risks." Salith oversaw scans. "Risks balanced by bond." She turned to Jonah. "Your methods unorthodox, effective." "Routine field work." Jonah shrugged. "Humans adapted. Aliens planned together, stronger." Alarms blared soft. Wrist unit pinged, anomaly in Tiri's lines. Biotracer. Jonah frowned. "Hold up, scan her deeper." Med drone's word. Salith leaned in. Spots on Tiri flickered, warning yellow. Keth primed lance. "Intrusion." "Tracer signal." Jonah traced the vein. Tiny implant pulsing. "Shun's play." Salith's spines flared. "Impossible, royal blood screened." Tiri whined, grabbed Jonah's hand. Guards tensed outside, staves ready. Keth barked orders. "Lockdown." Shun's voice crackled over comms. "Majesty, breach confirmed." "Air compromised. Secure protocols demand isolation from all." Liar's gambit. Jonah hefted Tiri's pod, prepped earlier. "Not happening." Her spots locked gold on him, trust sealed. Salith nodded. "With me." They bolted corridors. Plasma vents hissed open, traps. Keth blasted a panel. Sparks flew. Drones swarmed from grates. Hostiles, not palace guard. Shun's mercenaries. Jonah pod slammed a cluster. Crumpled metal. Tiri giggled inside, fearless. Keth blasted flanks. "Human fights like myth. Practical." Jonah punched a drone operator. Fist connected, helmet cracked. Alien reeled. "What strength?" Salith lanced stragglers, precise shots. "Forward." They hit generator bay. Tracer pulsed stronger. Jonah yanked access grate. Wires tangled. "Cut here." Tiri's pod hummed, her spots guided. He snipped. Signal died. But skimmers thundered docks. Feeds screamed, fleet breach. Drones massed, round two. Keth clasped Jonah's shoulder. "Brother." Salith vented relief. "Family." Tiri gripped through pod vents. Spots gold steady. Plasma lit halls. Hostiles poured armored. A captain bellowed. "True order." Jonah dodged stave, counterpunched, captain dropped. Practical, Teary cooed, hostiles wavered, whispers, predator ally, Salith broadcast. Air secured, stand down, fleet pulled back, silence fell, council feeds reignited, envoys bowed, queen endures. Jonah rocked pod, tap-tap, content coos, but deep scan pinged, buried signature, worse than tracer, biolock, Teary's eyes widened through viewport, spots flashed crimson alert, Salith tensed. Hunters inbound. Keth primed, Jonah smiled grim, gear up, family fought on. Jonah slammed the access panel shut. Teary's pod hummed steady in his arms. Crimson spots pulsed on her scales through the viewport, warning, not fear. Salith's voice cut sharp. Biosignature's a hunter beacon. Shun's work, it calls her kind. Keth leveled his lance. Nestrators, they'll shred the air for leverage. Thuds grew louder, vents rattled. Jonah scanned the bay. Secondary exit there. He pointed to a flickering service hatch. Salith nodded. Move! They sprinted. Jonah cradled the pod like a downed climber. Teary cooed, tiny claws scraping vents in rhythm. Hunters burst from grates, six-limbed shadows, barbs gleaming, one-lunged. Jonah sidestepped. Pod slammer cracked its carapace. Chitin splintered. The thing screeched, ichor spraying. Keth fired, precise bursts dropped two more. Human hits like stone? Practical. Jonah kicked a crawler off his boot. It skittered, impaled on Salith's blade. Last hunter coiled for Teary's pod, spots flashed gold. Jonah punched its maw, jaws shattered, it slumped. Silence, alarms wailed distant. Salith sheathed her weapon. Clear, dock now. Skimmers awaited, they loaded Teary secure. Engines roared, palace spires loomed as they broke atmosphere. Jonah rocked the pod, Teary's spots dimmed to blue calm. He exhaled. Routine op, alien edition. Docks swarmed with guards. Keth barked orders, medics scanned Teary. Salith clasped Jonah's arm. You return my air, debt binds us. Council feeds buzzed. Envoys glared from hollows. Shun's face flickered, smug, then sour. Queen endures, one murmured, but Salith waved them off. Right first, family wing. Jonah followed. Palace halls gleamed, crystal veins pulsing light. Guards flanked, lances low. Teary's pod bobbed between medics. They entered a vaulted chamber. Incense hung thick, spots dancing in air. Attendants arranged braziers. Salith knelt by a central plinth. Teary's pod set beside. Keth leaned in. Bonding right, vow seals you kin, repeat exact, one slip scandal. Jonah nodded, checklist, words, tone, gesture, no deviations. Salith raised palms, scales shimmering violet. Air restored by outsider's hand, blood debt calls can vow. Attendants echoed, eyes locked on Jonah. He stepped forward, mimicked her stance, palms up, fingers splayed exact, voice steady. I vow shield and scale, hunt with fang, stand with spine, family claims me. Silence, spots synchronized, gold pulse. Teary trilled through pod. Salith's eyes widened fraction. Exact, as taught in one breath. Keth grunted approval. No human errs so. Council feeds hushed. Shun's hologram flickered out, right done. Attendants dispersed. Jonah lowered hands. Practical memory. Salith rose. Come your suite. Family wing arched high, personal guards at every arch. Suites branched like veins. She halted at one. Here, shared with Teary's. Door irised open. Bed alcove, gear racks, viewport to stars. Jonah's kit waited, unpacked. Guards post here, Salith signaled. 4 armored Vayrkin took stations. Ours and yours, trust builds shared. Jonah scanned. Efficient, alerts link. Keth nodded. Drills next, palace breeds threats. Teary's medics wheeled her pod adjacent. She tapped viewport, eyes on Jonah, spots playful green. Rest, Salith said. Dawn drills. Jonah unpacked. Pod coos lulled him. Family, alien word, human weight. Dawn klaxons blared. Jonah bolted up. Keth waited in hall, lance slung. Drill 1, breach response. Keth tossed a stun baton. Palace vents hide killers. They ran corridors. Hollow intruders popped projections. Keth lunged. Flank. Jonah rolled. Baton cracked hollow skull. Covered. Keth reset. Seal vents. Panels hissed mock gas. Jonah yanked lever. Sealed tight. Pressure check. Keth blinked. You know. Field standard. Gas kills blind. Next, drone swarm sim. Pods buzzed. Jonah pod slammed 2. Keth lanced rest. Human adapts, Keth said. Myth's true. Not myth, training. Jonah wiped sweat. You're lancing perfect arcs. Keth clasped shoulder. Competence shared, brothers drill. Teary watched from viewport, spots mimicking drill flashes. Giggles echoed. Midday, Salith summoned. Banquet hall council arrayed. Shun at head, polished scales gleaming. Queen, Shun purred. Air safe, but outsider and family wing, scandal whispers. Attendants murmured. Jonah stood back per Keth's brief, silent unless called. Salith sipped nectar. Vow sealed, debt honors, Shun leaned. Human gestures crude, last eve he gripped AirPod wrong, claws dented. Gasps, eyes on Jonah, etiquette trap. Jonah stepped forward, calm. Apology practical, pod grip shielded from hunter barbs, dent saved scales, I adjust hold. He mimed softer cradle, fingers loose, silence. Tiri's feed projected, pod unscratched inside, her spot's content. Keth snorted, proof. Shun flushed violet. Coincidence, Salith waved. Det Trump's whisper, next. Envoys bowed, session broke, hall cleared, Salith pulled Jonah aside. Diffused clean, etiquette bends to truth. Checklist, he said. Insult scanned, fixed. Tiri's pod rolled in. She reached through vents. Jonah offered finger, tiny claws gripped. Spots gold, Keth joined. Drills resume, biolock lingers, Salith tensed. Scan showed hunter egg buried in her. Jonah frowned. Extract? Risky, her biology fights foreign. Tiri cooed, spots flickering. Warning, alarms wailed, real. Consoles flashed, wing breach. Guards primed, Keth barked. Positions, Shun's voice boomed hall feed. True order claims air, yield pretender. Drones swarmed vents. Jonah grabbed baton, Tiri gripped tighter. Salith drew blade. Family holds, plasma cracked. Jonah slammed first drone, sparks flew. Keth covered flank, Tiri's spots blazed crimson. Egg signature pulse stronger, hunters inside her. No calling more. Jonah punched drone operator hollow, no real merc, helmet split. Practical, Keth yelled, but vents birthed worse. Barbed forms slithered, Shun's backup. Salith lanced lead. Protect the vow, Tiri shrieked. Pod rocked, Jonah shielded. Claws dented his arm, trust grip. Deep scan pinged, egg hatching, now guards faltered. One down, barbs in throat. Jonah yanked Tiri's pod seal. Open now, medics hesitated. Salith nodded. Lid hissed, Tiri tumbled out. Scales quivered, abdomen swelled, egg sight. Hunters converged. Whispers, host ripens. Jonah scooped her, tiny form clung. Hold still, kid. He pressed palm to swell, field med stabilize. Human heat pressure, Tiri's spots locked his eyes. Gold surged, egg chitin cracked under his grip, not force, pulse. Her biology synced, ichor oozed harmless. Egg dissolved, hunters froze, queen scent shifted, they scattered, Shun's feed screamed. Impossible, Keth blasted stragglers. Human unravels hunter bond. Salith stared. Compassion dissolves curse. Tiri nuzzled Jonah's chest, spots steady blue. Family coup, guards cheered. Council feeds bowed low, but docks thundered. Shun's fleet massed again. Final play. Jonah rocked Tiri, gear up, bond unbreakable. Shun's shuttle slammed onto the docking pad. Ramps hissed open. Armored enforcers poured out, plasma lances raised. Jonah tightened his grip on Tiri. The child's scales warmed against his chest. Her spots pulsed steady blue. Secure the juvenile, Shun barked from the ramp. His robes gleamed under dock lights. By council decree, she poses a security risk. Surrender her now, Queen Salith. Salith stepped forward, her crown's spines flared. Guards flanked her, Keth at her side with rifle leveled. Envoy called her, your fleet blockades royal docks. Stand down. Jonah scanned the enforcers, 20 strong. Heavy gear, Tiri whimpered, claws pricking his vest. He shifted her higher, blocking her from view. Practical move, keep her calm, Shun sneered. The child hatched a hunter curse. Witnesses confirm she endangers the realm. Custody transfers to me for quarantine, effective immediately. Council feeds flickered alive on the dock walls. Hollow faces murmured. Jonah caught Keth's glance, wary but steady. No suspicion now. Progress. Salith's voice cut sharp. Ancient law binds us. The outsider dissolved the curse with bare hands. He claims guardianship. Shun laughed. A human, preposterous, no blood, no right, revoke it. Jonah rocked Tiri gently. Her coup vibrated through him. Fleet engines hummed outside, throttle low but ready. Goal, get off this pad alive. Conflict, Shun's power play, Keth growled. Scans verify, human synced her biology, egg dissolved clean. Shun waved a data pad. Fabricated, my sources saw hunters scatter at his touch. Manipulation, hand her over or we enforce. Enforcers advanced. Jonah backed toward Salith's shuttle. Tiri's spots flickered gold alert. He pressed his palm to her swell sight, residual heat from the egg, stable now. Salith raised a claw. Enough, Jonah Hale stepped forward. He did, Tiri clung tight. All eyes locked on him, practical on the moment. You saved her, Salith said. By the right of pulse you bonded, Tiri's guardian, swear it. Jonah met her gaze, calm. Swear to protect her, yeah, Shun sputtered. He can't, no lineage. Law predates your politics, Salith snapped. Bond accepted, Tiri lives under his mark. Council Feeds gasped. Hollow faces bowed. Jonah felt Tiri relax, her tail curled around his arm, trust grip. Shun thrust his pad forward. I challenge, fleet stands ready. Yield the child or war. Dock alarms blared. Fleet shadows loomed through viewports. Jonah's radio crackled, his team's shuttle inbound, but minutes out. Stall. Not yielding, Jonah said, voice even. Kids safe with me. Keth covered him, rifle hummed. Enforcers halted. Salith's spines locked. Envoy, your ambition blinds you. Stand down or face treason. Shun sneered. Treason, protecting the realm from alien filth, whispers rippled. Jonah ignored them, focused on Tiri. Her eyes met his, gold flex steady. I decline titles, Jonah said. Loud, clear, no guardian rank, but let's build something real. Joint rescue exchange, train your teams with mine. Humans handle biosyncs like that egg. You teach swarm tactics, share ops, save more kids. Silence hit. Council Feeds buzzed. Shun blinked. Exchange. With primitives, Salith turned. Wise, practical, council, record it. Hollow screens swirled, data streams linked. Jonah felt the shift, eyes on him changed. Not savior, partner, but Shun lunged. No, I demand. Salith's decree pad ignited. Royal seal blazed. Decree absolute. Jonah Hale enters House Vair. Adopted kin, brother to Tiri, blood-bound by right. Doc froze, Jonah's breath caught. Kin, not reward, family. Council Feeds erupted, bows swept low. House Vair endures, Shun reeled. Adopted, a human scandal. Law, Salith said. Family holds. Fleet disperse or fired upon. Shun's enforcers wavered, his face twisted. Then retreat, shuttles lifted, fleet peeled away. Keth clapped Jonah's shoulder. Brother Hale, welcome. Tiri nuzzled deeper. Spots blazed royal purple, joy. Jonah exhaled. Practical family, gear up. But Council Feeds lingered. Whispers grew. Human in the house, what next? Salith's shuttle ramp lowered. Kin board, home awaits. Jonah stepped up, Tiri secure, bond sealed, fleet gone, but eyes watched. Rivals plotted, dock lights dimmed, engines roared, trust built. Family chosen, shuttle bay sealed. Jonah settled Tiri in a nest pod, her coups filled the space. Salith approached. You refused glory, chose alliance, why? Practical, Jonah said. Saves lives long-term, kid needs stability, not drama. She nodded, spines eased. House Vair values such, train with Keth, exchange begins dawn. Keth grunted approval. Your sync trick, teach it. Biofield pressure, Jonah replied. Human norm, heat, rhythm like calming a spooked climber. Tiri's pod hummed. She reached for him, claws gentle. He took her hand, spots synced to his pulse. Council pinged Salith's calm. Envoy Calder retreats to core worlds, petitions review. Let him, she said. House stands. Jonah scanned readouts, shuttle clear, stars streaked. Homebound, but Tiri stirred. Spots flickered crimson, echo pain, he checked her swell. Stable, hunters gone. Rest, kid, palm down, she settled, Salith watched. Compassion, our strength now. Keth prepped weapons. Fleet scattered, but Shun schemes, Jonah nodded. Watch feeds, joint ops catch him early. Alliance forged, family unbreakable. Shuttle hummed toward palace spires, city lights bloomed below. Crowds gathered, feeds spread the decree, cheers rose, royal cradle awaited, but Jonah's vest held Tiri's scent. Blue spots, his now, dock thunder faded, new bond thrummed. Trust fast, fear broken, palace bays opened, guards saluted. Brother Hale. He carried Tiri down, legs steady, practical steps, Salith led. Feast prepares, kin welcome. Council chamber loomed, faces waited, Shun's allies, tests ahead, Jonah gripped Tiri, ready. Whispers hit, human queen's son, worlds chained. He smiled faint, family first. Tiri cooed, gold eyes locked, bond pulsed. Exchange program queued, teams linked, rescues multiplied. Shun's shadow lingered, but house held. Jonah entered the hall, lights blazed, kin embraced. Fleet mass no more, trust one, but palace alarms pinged soft. Outer probe, rival scout, Keth tensed, gear up. Jonah nodded, Tiri safe. Hunt began, family fought together.